we chatted a bit. I obviously, we talked about the book. We talked about the visit. He was very pleased, the president, with how it had gone. And he talked about how the king's a great guy. He talked to me about that before. He's a huge fan. He's a passionate royalist. He's a huge Anglophile. He's half British, loves the king. Talked about William, said he's going to be a great king, right? And very enthusiastic about the Princess of Wales, concerned about her health, but keen to see her back, and said what a wonderful job she's doing. And then he said, can Harry make a comeback? And I said, I don't think on a present form that's likely. And he went, boy, that wife of his, and then proceeded to say that the Duchess of Sussex, he said, what she's done to that guy, and sort of rolled his eyes. The conversation then moved on again, but he was...
My goodness. Kate Middleton, hardworking, she's doing a good job. Trump, if you're watching the royal family drama, then for sure, I know that you like maybe the monarchy or the royal family. What I can say is that there are people who are just out of touch with reality, Winnie.
Yeah.
Because what has Kate done? What work is she doing, for goodness sake?
Vacation?
That's work, apparently. In Trump's book, that's work. That's work. Going on never-ending vacations, it's so difficult. How they're working so hard for the public, for the Commonwealth, by going on vacations. I mean, I'm just really, really fed up with all this stuff, really. The ones who are called working royals are the ones who never go on never-ending vacations, and then they get praised for going on vacations. And it's called hard work. But Harry and Meghan, who actually work to earn a living, are the ones who are being, attacked, slammed, their names smeared. I'm just really, really fed up. Hello and welcome back to our channel. My name is Brian, and of course,
Winnie, and welcome.
Thank you for having me, Winnie, by the way.
You are welcome. It really keeps me excited to have you in my channel, and also in this Jane segment. People really love this
They love it, and I'm thankful that they love it. We are thankful that you love it.
Of course, we are thankful.
Yeah.
And Brian, we have discussed about this topic before, but I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the question is, why do they believe that somehow, if Meghan isn't around Prince Harry, listen to the question.
Yeah.
If Meghan isn't around Prince Harry, that Prince Harry will go back to the UK. I say this because Trump's first question to Robert Hardman was him asking if Harry will ever come back. That's why I asked that question. I
want to start by saying this. If it's true that Trump even said, or asked that question, will Harry ever come back? Do you see it happening? First of all, it seems to me that he is in tune with the royal family drama, and he likes that drama. Whereby there are villains and then there are heroes. Whereby the UK media are the ones who shape the narrative of how they are perceived, or how Harry, Meghan, William, Kate are perceived or seen by members of the public. Whereby they're portraying Harry and Meghan as the villains of the story, while portraying William and Kingston as the heroes, all that stuff. It's propaganda, and that's just too much, because we all know the ones who are the real villains are William and Kate Middleton, and the ones who've been caused so much pain and harm, and they've endured every single thing, and they have triumphed, they've excelled despite every single thing that has been put in their way, those hurdles or those obstacles. It's Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Exactly.
Now, to answer your question, where they think that somehow if Meghan isn't around, Prince Harry will come back to the UK. I've seen that oftenly. Actually, I've seen that every single day for the past, is it 6 years or 10 years, ever since Harry and Meghan met. They think that somehow if Meghan isn't around, Harry will talk to them.
Yeah.
Or if Meghan isn't around, Harry will feel inclined to come back to the UK and rejoin the royal fold. And to me, first of all, that is concerning, first of all, number one.
Yeah.
I say I'm concerned because of the threats that Meghan faces every single day from online trolls, from the UK media, and all the nonsense that UK media write about her every single day that honestly puts her in danger. You know, and causes significant risk to Meghan. Like, what are they willing to do to get Harry back to the UK? That is what is very, very concerning. Concerning because they don't see Meghan, you know, in the picture. They don't want Meghan, you know, to be in that picture. Whereby they believe Meghan is out of the way, Harry will come back. And the thing is, the sad thing is, most of them know the truth. They know that even before Harry met Meghan, he's always saying time and time again, I want to leave. I want to leave the royal fold. There are videos of Harry in Afghanistan, in a war zone. And he's saying that I generally don't like England because of what the UK media write. That's why. Not that he doesn't like his home or the people. He loves the people. He loves, of course, the UK. What he doesn't like are the papers and what they write about others. How they defame people. How they ruin other people's lives for a profit. You know, that's what Harry doesn't like. And he was saying that when he was in Afghanistan. Long before he even knew Meghan's name, long before he even met Meghan, you know, he was saying that of how he did want to leave. There are multiple role experts, like for example, even there's this one, you know, her name is Rhian Mills, who's now working for the royal family, who said herself also, Harry told him that Harry told her, that he wanted to leave, you know. But he's still around to help the Queen. That's it. You know, but he did want to leave. He's always wanted to step back as a senior member of the royal family because of even what Harry said when he was in Australia, because of what happened to his mother. But time and time again, it's Meghan who's used as a convenient scapegoat, blaming her because Harry left. And it concerns me that they think that if Meghan isn't with Prince Harry's gonna come back to them. You know, I don't really see that happening. What scares me is what UK media are willing to do to make Harry come back. That is terrifying. Because we've seen them targeting Harry and Meghan's commercial ventures. We've seen them going after Meghan so hard, whereby with the aim of making her leave Prince Harry. Thankfully, they failed, but they've never stopped trying. And that's why every single time they specifically go after Harry's wife, time and time again. Even Trump himself is now making it a habit also to go after Meghan and paint her as the problem, and that somehow Harry will come back to the UK, to the royal fold, if his wife isn't around. You know, and that concerns me. You know, because of, you know, the threats Meghan has faced. And I feel like it is wrong to paint that picture. That somehow, without your wife, Harry's gonna come back to the UK. You know? Yet, before even Harry met Meghan, he's been saying it. That he's always wanted to leave. So it's wrong for someone to even say that, you know what, or maybe Harry will come back if Meghan isn't around. You know, what are they trying to do? What are they hoping to achieve? Because Harry already said that, you know, he never ever wanted to continue even working for the royal fold because of what happened to his mother. When he saw how UK media were also targeting his wife, he was like, no, I can't do this. He took Meghan and Archie and fled the UK. To this date, they have never stopped going after his wife Meghan and his son Archie, and also now his daughter Elizabeth. Do you think that's gonna make Harry come back?
No.
It's not going to make Harry come back. You know, the more they go after Harry's wife and his children, the more Harry is in protective mood, doing every single thing in his power to protect his wife and children, like what a real man, a real husband, a real father should do.
I love the point that when you said the more they try to attack Meghan and the kids, the more Harry will be in the
defensive mood.
Exactly, and that's a really strong point. So, Camilla Tomineys is a liar.
Always.
Laughs when Robert Hardman claims that Trump told him that Meghan had done something terrible to Prince Harry. I'm assuming, because of the first question I had asked you, they are actually complaining about Harry leaving and that it's Meghan's fault. What do you think about this?
You know, as I've said, really, I think it's misogynistic constantly to blame Meghan because of Harry leaving. Harry is someone who's more than 40 years old. he's a grown man.
True.
He's a grown man, he's a husband, he's now also a father.
Mm-hmm.
He's well equipped to make decisions that are good for his family, because now he has his own family to think about. He has Meghan, Archie, Lily Bedana. They are his family, whether or not UK media like it or not, that's his family.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Harry who makes decisions about his family. Even Harry said in the Harry&Meghan documentary that he's the one who made the choice to take Meghan and Archie and flee the UK.
Yeah.
Meghan never ever asked to leave. She never ever asked. As Harry even said in the Harry&Meghan documentary. But despite that, they like to blame Meghan and say it's your fault, that Prince Harry left. They want to pin all the blame on her. Because when they pin the blame on her, it's easy for them to absolve themselves of the guilt. Because they are the ones who are responsible for Harry leaving because of how they handled his mother. Then they thought they can do the same thing to his wife and just put up with it. Harry was like, no, I will not go through this again. And he did what, of course, as I've said, a man should do: protect his wife, protect his children. That's what Harry has always done, time and time again. The man even went to court to fight for the safety of his wife and children. And they think that somehow, if Meghan is around, Harry will stop fighting, Harry will like us again. He's never going to like the people who go after him. And you would think that would be made clear even in the court case, whereby Harry said himself, these people like Rebecca English, Camilla Tomineys is a liar, Katie Nicole, all these people who somehow introduced themselves as Harry's friend, Harry said, they are not my friends. I put up with them, that's it. But they are not my friends. People who lie about you, smear your name, try to damage your reputation, and then they go and say, but you're friends. We are not friends. I can never be friends with someone who tries to destroy me. I can never be friends with someone who tries to take away my livelihood. I can never be friends with someone who tries to damage my reputation. It's never going to happen. Not now or ever. Yeah.
Yes, and one you have made when you were explaining this point, it got me thinking the way Harry said that even when he was still inside the farm, he felt like he was still trapped. And the fact that he is out of that trap system, I will call it, quote unquote. Now the UK media is even more angry and more,
upset.
agitated.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% that, ever since Harry fled the UK, not a day has gone by that UK media, I've never asked, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? They have never ever stopped asking. Every single day for the past, is it 6 years ever since Harry fled the UK? They have never stopped asking, when are you coming back? Will you come back for Christmas? Are you coming New Year? Are you coming Balmoral or Sandringham? Are you coming in June or July? That's the current topic right now. Will Harry be here, in the UK in June next month or July? Will he come over? It's like they chased him away to spend their time or days asking if he's gonna come back, because they want him back trapped in the little cage, miserable, unhappy. That's how they want him. Because if you think that Harry will be happy without his wife and kids, then surely you don't really know this man. You don't really know this man.
And the fact, another thing that the media is usually angry about is they had access of Prince Harry's life since he was a kid. And now the fact that it got to a point where now there's no access, now they become even more upset and more angry.
I've seen that as well. Also, whereby Prince Harry, when you create boundaries, Winnie, in your life,
true,
there are people who are toxic who will be angry that you've set out those boundaries. Whereby if you put up with disrespect before and said enough is enough, I'm not gonna deal with you, I won't work with you, I don't wanna be around you. There are people who are gonna be upset, very, very angry with you because of you establishing boundaries to protect yourself. So that's the same thing which has happened to Prince Harry and Meghan. Whereby after getting boundaries to protect themselves and their mental health, the ones who are so angry are people who
even don't wish them well.
Don't wish them well every single day. There are people who, who are disrespecting Prince Harry and Meghan every single day, and they're angry because Prince Harry and Meghan don't want anything to do with them. Think about how UK media, for example, they can disrespect Harry every single day, at the same time demand access to him, to his children even, to Meghan. Just think about that. Think about how, for example, even right now, we just heard that Thomas Markle is is in California right now, right?
Yeah.
Close to Meghan. Look at how UK media were toxic, want someone toxic in Meghan's life.
Yeah.
Yes, Meghan has said no, but you still hear those kinds of headlines. When Meghan, will you reconcile with Thomas Markle? That's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that, when you establish boundaries to protect yourself and your mental health and your children, there are those who were comfortable with you not having boundaries who will be upset when you put them. They'll even say bad things about you, like what they're saying about Meghan, because they're angry, because they're frustrated that you left a place or the table where respect wasn't being offered, and you are smart enough to say, listen, I'm leaving.
I'm done with this.
And they're angry at you because you respect yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So another question: will UK return mean that Harry's life will be perfect and fantastic, like the way the UK media promise? If
Harry's gonna come back, he'll be happy here in the UK. He'll be happy with Charles and William. And I don't see how you can be happy with people who in your heart have tried every single thing in their power to take away your kids' birthright.
Exactly.
Destroy you, take away your security. I don't see it. I'm sorry, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Because even Harry himself in his court case, there's something that I said that people didn't really take notice about, but I did. Harry said the things that he has found out in court about his security case, he said that he thought that there are those who do every single thing in their power to ensure that history does not repeat itself, like what happened to his mother.
Yeah.
But then he realized there are people who actually want history to repeat itself.
Yeah.
Yes. Harry said that in court. So there are things he found out in court, which of course were hurtful to him. To think that there are people, even in his family, and I believe in his family, or in his own family, Charles, William, who can take away your security and not care if you are safe or not. So I don't see how you can forget about that. Even you can forgive someone who done that to you, but you can't forget. You can't forget. Even Harry said it will be difficult. It will be difficult to forget this. Very difficult. That's why I see it as being impossible for him to forget. Because even if it happened to me personally, and this did not happen to me, but if it happened to me, there are things of course I can't even forgive or even forget. Or maybe I can forgive, but forgetting. It's a bit difficult. It's a bit very, very difficult.
Yes.
So there is no way that Prince Harry will ever be happy, back in the UK, surrounded by people who want to destroy him, want to destroy his marriage, want to destroy his kids and turn them to scapegoats for William and kids. I don't see how you can be happy in that kind of environment. Of course, Harry loves the UK, loves the people loves the country. Okay, of course that's fine. That's okay, no problem. But UK media, whenever they think about Harry UK, they think that someone wants to come back to the UK, live there permanently. I don't see how you can trade your life in Montecito to go and put up with insults and abuse from the UK media. I just don't see it. So I don't think that Harry will ever be happy really back in the UK. It's not possible for him to be happy back there because also the conditions. What are you being offered in the UK? Disrespect, insults, abuse towards you and your children.
All that in one place.
So all that in one place, right? One environment. Yes. So would you want that? Personally, nobody would want that. So for as long as UK media keep on respecting Prince Harry, they're showing one thing: Harry is clearly better off without them, and Harry is happier without having them in his life or his kids' life. That's what I can say. Really.
Yeah, and now that brings us to the last question of our Jane discussion: is, in your own opinion, is Harry happy in Montecito or not, Brian? And do you think he is living his best life ever, or do you think that life in the UK will be best for him?
I'm not the person who wants to dictate to Prince Harry and Meghan how to live their lives, because I think that's not appropriate, because it's not my life. I'm just a fan of Harry and Meghan. That's it. What I can say is that, as I've said even previously, like, what is being offered to Prince Harry? Is it being offered happiness in the UK? No. It's not being offered happiness in the UK. What is being offered is that just come back here, we want to control you, we want to take your kids to the same school as William and Kate's kids, and to turn them into scapegoats for William and Kate's kids, and we want you to leave your wife, and we want your kids to grow up in a broken and unhappy home. So that's the offer Harry's being offered. So is that a good offer in your opinion?
No, it's not a good offer.
It's not a good offer, right? That's because that's what Harry's being offered. And then come back and end all your commercial deals and come back and beg Charles for money and a place to stay. Because if you're begging for a place to stay, we can control you and tell you what to do.
We can give you a good press.
We'll give you good press, but for how long?
For how long? Exactly.
For how long? You know? For how long? Think about Margaret, think about Prince Andrew. They've all been kicked out of the spotlight, right?
True.
And they are the spares to the heirs, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that they want Harry back because they miss him and they care about him? The answer is no, they don't care about him.
Yeah.
They just want to control him and finish what they started before with the aim of destroying him to proper Prince William. So that's what is being offered for Prince Harry back in that's what life in the UK entails.
Yeah.
A life of being divorced.
Yeah.
Marrying, maybe even remarrying someone you don't love.
Yeah.
Having your kids grow up in a broken home even without you, leaving them time and time again. That is what is being offered to Prince Harry.
Yeah.
Should you take that offer?
No.
Would you take that offer? Let me just ask you.
Of course
not. I'm not asking Prince Harry, but I'll ask you, would you take that offer?
I wouldn't take that offer.
Yeah, because you're being asked to even abandon your children.
Yeah.
You're being asked to leave your wife. You're being asked to come back and put up with disrespect in the UK media, so William can get good press. So your brother can get good press. So you are the sacrificial lamb to put up with those insults.
Oh, Jesus.
So is that the amazing life that the UK is offering Prince Harry? It's not an amazing life.
And the one thing that they want Prince Harry back, because him as a spare is actually doing more than the heir to the throne.
And so they want to dim his light to prop up the heir or make the heir look good. That's why you've seen them targeting, Harry's legacy, Santa Barley. Now they're after Invictus Games. They're after every single thing that Harry cares about. His wife, his children, his hard work with his foundation. All because William, when you look at his accomplishment, it's minute compared to Prince Harry's achievements. And that's why they attack Harry's accomplishments and achievements, because they keep on trying to dim his light, because William hasn't achieved much compared to Prince Harry. So it's about jealousy also. We can see an element of jealousy from Prince William himself towards Prince Harry. So they want to dim his light to Prince William, and then they're like, Harry, this is what is best for you.
This is what is best for you.
So even Margaret was told, give us the person that you love, or else we'll cut you or we'll take away your money. She gave up the person that she loved, and she was miserable her whole life. The only thing that Camilla did for her is that they've been praising her for giving up love for duty, but she was miserable, and they all know she was miserable. So in this life, Winnie, there's a thing that goes like this: you only live once, so you can choose happiness or misery. If you have a choice, don't choose misery for anybody else. You cannot make that choice and be miserable to make someone else happy. Don't make that mistake in your life. Never make that mistake. Because that person will not do the same thing for you.
They won't sacrifice the same.
They will not do the same thing for you. You may think that they will do the same thing for you, but they will not. But they will not do the same thing for you. They will not. So you can even have a family member who you would do every single thing in your power. If, let's say, for example, you've got a good job and that's paying you very, very well, and you can help out that family member. You can help them. I think something is, if they are in your position, they may not do the same thing for you. And that's even though you expect them to do the same thing that you would do. So the mistake here that is being made is that there are those who think that somehow Harry should sacrifice himself, his happiness, his joy, to be miserable for William's sake. For William's sake. Apparently that's what they call Harry's job. So the mistake is thinking that William could do the same thing for Prince Harry. He would never do the same thing for Prince Harry. Never. True. So if you know that very well, you must protect yourself. Because if you don't do that, then they'll destroy you. They'll break you. Because Harry, without his wife and children, they've destroyed him completely. True. And that's what they want to achieve with him. And we must never ever allow the family to succeed in the evil quest at destroying Harry and Meghan's union and Harry and Meghan's wonderful love story. We must not allow the farm and UK media to succeed.
And even as you're talking, I remembered something that even when Princess Diana, now the mother to Prince Harry, was told to describe Harry, he said Harry is totally a different kid from William. So even the UK media knew from way beginning that there's something that Prince Harry carries about him, and they want to just dim his light all the way. And trust you me,
that is special about him.
He won't have.
that they want to deem his late Papa Prince William.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good point, by the way. And I've seen the same thing really, happening and unfold. And we keep on promoting, supporting Harry and Meghan because we don't want even for Harry himself as a spare to have the fate of the other spares that UK media are promising while saying it's a good thing. While saying it's a good thing.
It's like a cycle of the spares.
They want to continue the cycle of the spares whereby they're destroyed, the reputation ruined, and then they say that somehow it's good for Prince Harry. It's perfect for him. And that level of brainwashing propaganda to the point that even the Trump thinks that somehow, Harry back in the UK is what's best for him. That's sickness. That's complete sickness. Harry was never going to be happy, in the UK. At the spare, he was always meant to be destroyed. Right now, look at Prince Harry right now. He's the most talked about royal, him and Meghan. They're popular. Everyone wants to be around them. Wherever they go, they're being praised. I want that to keep on happening for Prince Harry and Meghan. That can't happen if you have, the farm destroying Prince Harry while saying, "Oh, we've done what is best for him."
We know what's best for him.
We know what is best for him. Apparently, and that is destruction. So propaganda, the kind of propaganda that is currently in place, being put in place to somehow paint that Harry being back in the UK is somehow good for him. We must destroy that propaganda because it's a lie. It's a blatant lie. What right now he has is special. And that's why there's so many who want to destroy what he has right now. A wonderful mansion he owns himself. No one can kick him out. Not Charles, not William. But we've seen even those efforts by the farm and UK media to even get him deported from the US and back to the UK. So you see, because they still won't find ways to take away the special things he has built in America. We see in Gardner, for example, doing every single thing in his part to get Harry deported because they keep on trying to ruin Harry's life. While saying we know what is best for him, we know what is best for him, while trying to ruin him. So they must not be allowed to succeed in what they're doing. And the best thing to ever happen to Prince Harry is finding Meghan and taking her and Archie out of the UK, and now they're blessed, of course, Lily and Diana. That's what I can say, Winnie. Thank you.
That was a really good discussion. I hope you really enjoyed our joint segment for today. And thank you so much. Please continue subscribing. And what do you have to say, Brian?
Please subscribe and don't forget to like, and may God bless you all, and comment. We'll even be reading your comments. So please kindly keep on supporting, and thank you for all of the wonderful support that we've seen. We are deeply grateful for that, and may God bless all of you. Thank you so much, and of course, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.